Sean McDermott made headlines this week by sending a very clear, almost unmistakable message to rookie safety Cole Bishop, and it wasn't exactly a vote of confidence. The Buffalo Bills head coach, known for choosing his words carefully, wasn't subtle this time. And if you've been paying attention over the course of this offseason, it's clear this wasn't an isolated comment, but the latest in a string of pointed remarks that seemed to escalate with each public appearance. Bishop is officially on notice. The question now is whether he's ready to respond, or if someone else will take the job that was supposed to be his. Let's go back a few months. February. The season had just ended, and attention was turning toward player development and the future of the roster. McDermott was asked about Bishop and gave what at the time sounded like a standard rookie evaluation. You want a young player to understand the system to the point where he can play fast and you can see his true skill set. Fair enough. That's coach speak. You hear it all the time. Play fast, learn the system, let your athleticism shine. But in hindsight, it sounds more like the first warning shot. Now fast forward to training camp. Bishop has missed a significant chunk of time with a quad injury. Again, and McDermott's tone has shifted. It's not about growth anymore. It's about concern. Cole has missed quite a bit of time, just like last year, McDermott said last week. It remains to be seen what he's truly able to do for us. And that's a big position for our defense. That's not subtle. That's not optimistic. That's a head coach signaling to a young player. Time is running out. And then came the most damning quote yet. Bishop returned to joint practices and played just 12 snaps in the preseason game against the Bears. McDermott, asked for his assessment, replied, "He has shown to this point that the ability, the skill can be there. We're just not there yet. The availability affects that. We're still looking to find who it's going to be in terms of the safety to playing next to Taylor Rapp. That's as close to an open audition as you're going to get in the NFL. The job is up for grabs, and right now, Bishop is not holding on to it tightly enough." This is classic McDermott. It's the same blueprint we saw last year with Terrell Bernard. Remember that? Tremaine Edmonds left for Chicago, and suddenly the middle linebacker spot was wide open. Bernard, Dodson, Dorian Williams. It was a three-man competition, and Bernard, like Bishop now, missed key time during training camp. McDermott said back then, "There's room for improvement when it comes to the middle linebacker job. Communication, leading the defense, running the defense. It's an area of concern right now." It sounded bleak. It sounded uncertain. And then Bernard won the job and went on to have a phenomenal season. So yes, there's precedent here. This could be McDermott's way of lighting a fire under a player he believes in, pushing buttons to get the best result. But the difference with Bishop is the injuries. This isn't just a question of readiness or mental grasp of the scheme. This is about availability. And in the NFL, as we all know, availability is often more valuable than potential. And the truth is, the Bills don't have the luxury of waiting. Safety is a pivotal role in McDermott's defense. It's a leadership spot. It's about communication, angles, tackling, disguise. This isn't a position you can afford to leave unsettled going into week one. And if Bishop can't stay on the field, someone else is going to get that shot. The options aren't exactly inspiring. Damar Hamlin, who's got one of the most courageous comeback stories in sports, is still more of a depth piece. Solid, steady, but limited. He's the kind of player you root for, but not necessarily a long-term starter. Cam Lewis has some versatility and value on special teams, but can he hold up full-time at safety? That's still a stretch. Derek Forrest has been quiet. Jordan Hancock, a promising rookie, is dealing with a shoulder issue. Trey H. Honan is a late add, and his tape doesn't scream starter either. And then there's UDFA Owens, flashes on film, but likely not ready for this kind of responsibility. So what about going outside the building? Could the Bills make a splash move to stabilize the position? Fans have pointed to Justin Simmons, a proven veteran, former All-Pro, who still has gas in the tank. On paper, it makes sense, but McDermott's defense relies heavily on chemistry, on guys knowing the system, trusting each other, communicating in sync. And Simmons, as talented as he is, has no history in this scheme. No reps, no familiarity. Could he pick it up quickly? Sure, but the Bills aren't the type of team to throw a veteran into the fire right before the opener. That's just not how they operate. Jordan Poyer's name has also surfaced. And yes, he knows the system. He's a familiar face. But the tape from last year is hard to ignore. He looked like a player on the decline. There were moments, too many, where he looked a step slow, out of position, like the grind of the game had caught up with him. And after his comments about not being willing to give his all in Miami, you have to wonder if that edge, that fire, is still there. That mentality is what made him special in Buffalo. Without it, he's just another aging safety. That brings us back to Cole Bishop. He still has the physical tools. He still has the upside. And from everything we've seen, the team still wants him to win the job. He and Taylor Rapp have been side by side in drills. That was the plan. That's the pairing they were building toward. But missing time matters. And when you're not available, you can't improve. You can't build chemistry. You can't show the coaches what you can do. And then when you do get on the field like Bishop did against the Bears, you gotta flash. You gotta pop. And he didn't. The snaps were limited, sure, but so were the plays. And with the position battle heating up and the clock ticking, that's not going to cut it. Let's be clear, the Bills are not panicking. Not yet, but they are searching. And McDermott's comments make that clear. The safety spot next to Taylor Rapp is open. And while Bishop may still be the frontrunner, he's far from a lock. Someone else could steal that job, or the team might be forced to explore options they'd rather avoid. And all of this is happening with the season right around the corner. This isn't just about a roster decision. This is about the identity of the defense. For years, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer held it down. They were the heartbeat of the secondary. Communicators, tacklers, playmakers. That duo gave the Bills stability game after game, year after year. And now it's gone. Hyde is retired. Poyer is gone. And the baton is being passed. Or at least it was supposed to be. So the pressure isn't just on Bishop. It's on McDermott. It's on the front office. It's on the coaching staff to find the next anchor for the back end of this defense. And if Bishop can't be that guy, whether because of injury, inconsistency, or anything else, then someone else needs to step up. Fast. What we're watching unfold is a slow, deliberate message from the head coach. One that started months ago and has become more pointed with every passing week. From learn the system to miss too much time to we're still looking. That's a progression. That's a spotlight. And Bishop is standing in the middle of it. In what can only be described as one of the most surprising twists of the offseason, the Buffalo Bills have sent shockwaves throughout the NFL community by announcing the acquisition of British defensive end EFE OBADA, formerly of the Washington Commanders. The news broke suddenly, almost without warning, catching analysts, fans, and even some players off guard. OBADA, who has carved a unique path in the league with his remarkable backstory of resilience and determination, instantly becomes one of the most fascinating additions to Buffalo's already intimidating roster. While trades and signings are always part of the league's rhythm, this particular move has the texture of something far bigger, a bold statement of intent by the Bills that could reverberate throughout the AFC. What makes this story even more gripping is that whispers of this deal have been circulating quietly for weeks, but few dared to believe it. And now, with the confirmation in place, speculation is running rampant about how OBADA's presence might reshape the Bills' defensive identity. This is not just another signing. It is a maneuver that combines narrative, talent, and the kind of audacity that fans in Buffalo have come to admire, expect, and perhaps crave. The underlying sentiment buzzing across social media and among sports journalists is that the Bills are not merely building a team to compete. They are building one designed to shock, intimidate, and redefine what it means to be contenders. OBADA, with his international flair and relentless motor, is being described by insiders as the missing piece in a defensive puzzle that has long hovered between dominance and vulnerability. There is also the intriguing layer of OBADA's journey, from his beginnings in London to a professional career in the United States, which adds a fresh narrative dimension to Buffalo's storyline. Fans are already flooding forums with excitement, crafting bold predictions about sack totals, defensive rankings, and playoff pushes. Skeptics, however, warn that hype can often overshadow practicality, pointing out that fit within a system matters as much as raw talent. Still, The rumor mill suggests the Bills see OBADA not only as a weapon on the field, but also as a symbol, a player whose international background underscores Buffalo's aspirations of expanding their brand and influence beyond American borders. It is precisely this cocktail of football and mythology that has given this signing its electric, rumor-like quality. Observers are quick to note how this move could send ripples far beyond Orchard Park. Within the AFC East, the news is already raising eyebrows, with rivals reportedly scrambling to assess how OBADA's arrival might impact their game plans. The New England Patriots, Miami Dolphins, and New York Jets, each with their own defensive strategies and offensive schemes, now face a Buffalo front line that promises unpredictability and fresh aggression. Coaches around the league are rumored to be whispering that this is not simply about adding depth, but about creating a psychological edge that could unsettle quarterbacks and offensive coordinators alike. Moreover, the international dimension of the signing is stirring conversations at the league office, where marketing executives are said to be eyeing OBADA's British roots as a gateway to further expansion of the NFL's European ambitions. Could Buffalo, a team historically tied to its loyal Rust Belt fanbase, suddenly become a flagship brand in London or beyond? These are the questions circulating in hushed tones among league insiders. The combination of football strategy, marketing potential, and unexpected boldness is exactly why this signing is not being treated as business as usual. It feels bigger, stranger, and far more tantalizing. What fuels the mystery even further is the way in which the Bills orchestrated the announcement. There was no long build-up, no leaks that gained traction in mainstream outlets, no carefully crafted breadcrumbs for insiders to follow. Instead, the news dropped like a thunderclap, instantly dominating headlines and overshadowing other off-season narratives. Some insiders claim the Bills intentionally kept the operation quiet, creating a smokescreen to maximize the impact of the reveal. Others insist it was simply a matter of timing, an opportunity seized before another franchise could swoop in. Whatever the truth, the strategy has worked brilliantly, amplifying the sense of shock and intrigue that now surrounds Buffalo's offseason. Rumors are even swirling that certain figures within the Commanders' organization are stunned at how efficiently Buffalo managed to secure the deal, with whispers of last-minute conversations and rapid negotiations painting a picture of urgency behind the scenes. It is this aura of secrecy, combined with the suddenness of the announcement, that has transformed OBADA's move from a simple roster addition into a story with the flavor of legend. Fans and commentators alike are left wondering what else Buffalo has up its sleeve. In the end, whether OBADA's arrival translates in a measurable success on the field remains to be seen, but the atmosphere it has created is undeniable. Buffalo is now buzzing with a sense of anticipation, and the entire NFL is watching closely. Will OBADA become the disruptive force the Bills envision, a player who delivers sacks, leadership, and momentum at critical junctures? Or will this move fade into the background as just another off-season gamble that never quite reached its potential? For now, the excitement is real, the speculation endless, and the energy palpable. Fans at bars, on message boards, and across podcasts are dissecting every angle, from scheme fits to cultural impact, weaving theories about how this could be the key to a Super Bowl run. Even those skeptical of the hype admit that the Bills have done something remarkable. They have seized control of the narrative, turning an off-season signing into a nationwide conversation. And in a league where stories matter almost as much as statistics, that achievement alone is a kind of victory. For Buffalo, the storm has been unleashed, and all that remains is to see how far it will carry them. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update. The uncertainty around Cole Bishop opens the door for a broader conversation about the Buffalo Bills defense, and more specifically, about how Sean McDermott handles pressure when expectations are high but questions still linger. This isn't just about a safety battle anymore. This is about culture, trust, and risk management. And it's fascinating to see how it's all unfolding in real time, especially after what we saw with Terrell Bernard last year. Remember, he wasn't supposed to be the guy either. McDermott sent warning shots through the media then, too, talking about leadership gaps at middle linebacker, issues with communication, and how no one had truly claimed a job. Sound familiar? And then Bernard emerged, became the starter, exceeded expectations, and earned himself a new contract. Could that same trajectory be in play for Bishop? Possibly. But the difference, again, comes down to health and reps. Bernard might have missed some time, but Bishop has missed more, and not just this offseason. This is a pattern now. 2 consecutive years of significant missed time during critical developmental windows. And that sets off alarms. Because the NFL doesn't wait for anyone. You lose time, you fall behind. Someone else gets the reps. Someone else builds chemistry. Someone else earns the trust of the coaching staff. That's how players lose jobs before they ever really get a chance to win them. And in Bishop's case, he's right on the edge of that scenario. But here's where things get interesting, because it's not like anyone else is dominating the competition. That's the bigger story that often gets overlooked. Bishop might be underwhelming so far, but so is everyone else. No one has stepped up. No one has taken control of that open safety job. And that's why McDermott's messaging has gotten more pointed. He's not just speaking to Bishop. He's speaking to the entire group. The coaches are watching. The job is there. Someone needs to take it. And right now, nobody has. You look at a guy like Damar Hamlin. He's steady. He's experienced. He's beloved by the locker room. But on the field, he's got a ceiling. He's not going to give you range. He's not going to give you elite closing speed. He's not going to flip the field with ball production. He'll fill a role, but he won't elevate the defense. Cam Lewis? Great special teamer. Slot flexibility. But you start putting him in deep coverage consistently, and you're asking for trouble. Jordan Hancock is intriguing. There's a skills set there, but the shoulder injury slows everything down. You can't evaluate a guy when he's sidelined. And even when healthy, is he ready to start? It's a long shot. Derek Forrest at this point might not even make the roster. He's been that invisible. So what do? The natural reaction from fans is to look outside the building. Justin Simmons is still available, and there's no denying the resume. Multiple-time All-Pro. Leader. Productive. Smart. Tough. He checks every box on paper. But here's the problem. McDermott has never shown a willingness to throw a veteran into a leadership-heavy role on short notice. That's not how he operates. He values continuity, trust, and reps in the system. And Simmons, as good as he is, would be starting from scratch with terminology, chemistry, and expectations. And at age 32, how fast could he truly get up to speed? Would he be ready to take the field and quarterback the back end of the defense in week 1? That's a big ask, even for a vet like Simmons. The fit sounds better in theory than it might be in execution. Then there's Jordan Poyer. And look, his name will always be linked to this team because of what he meant to the organization. But nostalgia isn't a strategy. And based on last year's tape, it's clear that Poyer isn't the same player. He looked slower. He struggled in space. The instincts were still there, but the range wasn't. And that's not even getting into the off-field concerns. The cryptic comments about not going all in with the Dolphins, the questionable body language, the lack of leadership energy that defined his earlier years in Buffalo. You bring a guy like that back into the building, and you're hoping the fire reignites. But what if it doesn't? So again, we circle back to Bishop. Because even with the missed time, the inconsistencies, and the underwhelming showing against Chicago, he still represents the most upside. He's younger, faster, more physical than the other in-house options. And at some point, you have to invest in development. That doesn't mean you blindly hand him the job. It means you continue to challenge him, give him snaps, and find out, once and for all, if he's capable of handling the role. And let's not forget, the Bears game was his first live action in a long time. It's hard to look sharp when you've barely practiced. The speed of the game is real. The angles are tighter. The windows are smaller. So maybe 12 snaps isn't enough to slam the door shut. Maybe it's just a starting point. But it's going to need to be better, and quickly. Because McDermott isn't bluffing. The tone, the choice of words, the comparisons to last year's situation. This is deliberate. The same way he challenged Bernard last year. He's challenging Bishop now. The difference is that Bernard answered with playmaking. Bishop hasn't done that yet. Training camp is almost over. Preseason is wrapping up. The joint practices were a chance for Bishop to show growth, to reestablish his footing, to prove that he's more than just a developmental player. Instead, he played a dozen snaps in a game where every rep mattered and didn't show much. It's not the end, but it's not a great sign either. And while some fans might dismiss McDermott's comments as motivational tactics, it's also possible that the coaching staff is truly concerned. You don't keep repeating a message like that unless you mean it. And what about the ripple effect? Because if Bishop falters and there's no clear replacement, the entire defensive structure feels that pressure. Taylor Rapp, now the veteran in the room, would be forced to take on more communication responsibilities. The linebackers, already adjusting to changes around them, would have to carry more of the burden. The cornerbacks lose some of the trust they've built in the back end. Suddenly, a defense that relies on discipline and unity becomes reactive and uncertain. And that's the exact opposite of how McDermott wants to play. As we turn toward the final preseason game and the countdown to Week 1 gets real, every moment Bishop is on the field is a chance to change the narrative. The stakes couldn't be higher, not just for the player, but for a team still trying to fill the void left by two legends in the secondary. There's no clear answer yet, but there's still time for someone to become one. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments.